A hug that lingers in her mind isn't about pressure or physical strength. It's about the calm presence you bring into the moment and the emotional certainty you carry within yourself. When you're not overthinking the hug, not tightening your arms to make an impression, and not rushing to turn it into something more, your body language speaks confidence. Your breathing is steady, your movements are natural, and your energy feels settled. That calm communicates safety. It tells her you're not seeking validation from her reaction, and you're not afraid of the closeness. In that moment, she feels held without being claimed, connected without being trapped. Her nervous system relaxes before her thoughts even start, and that's what makes the hug stay with her. Later, when she's alone, her mind goes back to how it felt rather than what happened. She starts comparing that feeling to every rushed, awkward, or needy interaction she's had before. The certainty you showed without saying a word creates a quiet contrast that stands out. That's why the hug keeps replaying in her head, not because of intensity, but because of the calm confidence that made it feel real and different. Women remember how safe, grounded, and understood they felt far more than they remember the exact details of a moment. Words can fade quickly, compliments can blur together, and gestures can lose their impact, but emotions imprint deeply. When she feels safe in your presence, her guard lowers without effort. Her shoulders relax, her breathing slows, and she doesn't feel the need to analyze or protect herself. That sense of grounding tells her she can be herself without performing or anticipating what you expect from her. Feeling understood doesn't require long conversations or explanations. It comes from how attentively you listen, how patient you are in silence, and how naturally you respond to her energy. When she senses that you're tuned in rather than distracted or reactive, it creates a quiet emotional connection. Later, when she thinks back on the moment, it's not the words you said that come to mind, but the comfort of being seen and accepted. That feeling becomes the memory, and it's why she keeps returning to it, replaying the calm and clarity long after the interaction has ended. When a hug comes without neediness or hidden intention, it creates curiosity instead of just comfort. Neediness has a weight to it. It feels like someone is trying to take something from the moment. Hidden intention shows up as tension, as if the hug is a transaction or a setup for what comes next. Even if nothing is said, that energy is felt immediately. But when there's no agenda behind the gesture, the moment feels clean. You're not trying to extend it for reassurance, and you're not pulling away out of fear. You're simply there because it feels right to be there. That absence of pressure gives her space to feel instead of react. Her mind doesn't jump into defense or evaluation mode because there's nothing she has to manage. Instead of thinking, what does he want? She starts thinking, why did that feel so natural? Curiosity is born when something feels good without demanding anything in return. That's what keeps her thinking later on. The hug didn't try to convince her of anything, and that's exactly why it stays with her, because it allowed her to arrive at her own feelings without being pushed. True connection happens when your energy is steady enough to let her relax and feel seen. When you're emotionally balanced, you're not reacting to every small signal or searching her face for approval. Your presence feels consistent, not up and down, not intense one moment and distant the next. That steadiness creates a rhythm she can settle into. She doesn't feel like she has to match your mood or guess what version of you she's going to get. Feeling seen comes from that consistency. It shows in the way you maintain eye contact without staring, the way you listen without interrupting, and the way you respond without trying to control the outcome. She senses that you're aware of her emotions, but not overwhelmed by them. In that space, she can relax into herself instead of performing or protecting. The connection deepens quietly because it's built on stability rather than excitement alone. And that kind of calm recognition is what lingers in her thoughts long after the moment has passed. A hug that's genuine speaks louder than words and stays with her long after the moment ends, because authenticity carries its own kind of weight. When the gesture isn't rehearsed or exaggerated, it feels honest. There's no performance in it, no attempt to create an effect. It comes from how comfortable you are being exactly where you are with her. That honesty is felt immediately, even if she can't explain it. It registers as something real in a world where so many interactions feel forced or transactional. What makes it stay with her is that nothing about it demanded a response. She wasn't expected to react a certain way, say something back, or move the moment forward. The hug simply existed, complete on its own. Later, when she thinks about it, she's not replaying a dramatic gesture, she's remembering the sincerity behind it. That quiet authenticity gives the memory depth, and it's why it lingers, not because it was intense, but because it was true. And that's the thing, moments like that aren't about trying too hard, proving something, or rushing toward a reaction. The hug that leaves her thinking about you all night isn't loud, it's steady. It's not about showing off strength or passion, it's about showing up fully, being present, and allowing her to feel safe, seen, and understood. When you give a hug like that, it doesn't just touch her body, it touches her mind and her heart, leaving an impression that no words could ever replicate. That's the kind of presence that stays, that lingers, and that makes her keep thinking about you long after you've walked away.